Good morning, guys. I've got. I was going to do a little work up in the shop today, but my IKEA light, or also known as a double boost light, it just pissed me off for the last time. Now the quality of the light is awesome. Any of you use this, it's like having a handheld LED flashlight with you that's always got fresh batteries, and you can put light right on the spot. But and I've broken the base. The base is just plastic. And it's been taped and tie wrapped, and I got it tie wrapped down to actually a very strong little bar magnet. There's two magnets on the back side of that, so it sticks down tight. The trouble I'm having is, and that's an okay fix, but it's just a cheap get her done kind of fix. But what's happening here is the light doesn't have any memory anymore. It just she just falls down and it's getting real limp. And so the old man needs a little Viagra. So I was thinking of giving it a little blue pill and trying to sturdy it up. Those of you that know, when they're new, I bought one for my my surface grinder. Now this is not an oily environment. So this guy, I mean, I could just take this dude and just stick it and just form it sturdy and doesn't feel like falling, and you can stick it down and put the light right on the spot. And that's how I remember the one on my mill being. And like I said, this is not an oily environment here on the surface grinder, but the one on the mill is. And I attribute the limpness, the 90-year-old prickness, to oil getting in between each one of these little serrations, or whatever you want to call them, on this flexible conduit, or whatever you want to call this stuff. But I still love the light. The light is awesome, but the thing's got a mind of its own now. I put it where I want the light, and then it goes bleh, and it'll fall down into the work and stuff. So I'm gonna kind of, since this one's already destroyed, base, I snapped the little two pins out of the base because they were just kind of melted in there. I forgot what I was doing, but I bumped something into it and snapped those off, and then I tie wrapped it to this magnet, and now it's kind of working. But now the limpness is bugging me. So I'm going to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. I mean, for those of you that have bought these, you know it's only a $9 light, not a high dollar light, but the light quality is good. So I'm going to take all this apart. I'm going to have to clip the wires. I'm going to do some shrink tubing work, but I'm going to sleeve over this with Loc Line. And for any of you that have used Loc Line, you know when you put it there, it stays there. But like I say, and on the surface grinder, I don't see it ever becoming a problem. I don't think it's going to get oily enough that all those little areas are going to get oiled and limp on you. Anyways, a little blue pill in the form of little blue line lock. Let's get this stuff hard. Okay, here's an update on the little Jansjo light. Turns out that this conduit here does not fit inside of the 1/4 inch Loc Line, and you know, I don't see the purpose in that anyways. And I've stripped the everything out of it. This end was the plastic tapered piece that goes down to the base, and it was broken anyways. And that's a very dense plastic, and you can see I actually had to make a pass on the side of it with a bandsaw to get the plastic off. You can see where I nicked the side of that little ferrule that it's swaged on there. And you've got the flex conduit, and up at the other end, you know, I thought this globe was plastic, but it turns out it's pot metal. And you see they got some heatsink compound down there. And then the piece that goes in there, that's the electronics in there, that's the LED. And it's got, see, it's got a heatsink on the back with some thermal paste. So when I put it back together, I'm going to just give it a dab of some regular super silver computer paste and screw it back down. So it's got the lens, which is interesting. It's flat on the back and convex or concave on the front. I can't remember the terminology. I think that's convex. Whatever. Anyways, lens, I'll polish that up. The ring Tricky to get out. That just this little ring bezel just kind of snaps over there and snaps in. If you get in there with an X-Acto knife and a very small screwdriver, you can snap this off. After this is off, take off the bezel, the lens falls right out. 2 screws on the reflector, those 2 screws on the reflector, and the same screws also pin down the electronic board into the pot metal. Now, getting this pot metal off of the conduit was a little difficult. They had some type of Loctite or locking on there, locking compound, or but this was this thread was very tight in there. I ended up chucking up this swage connection in the lathe and locking the spindle. Then I wrapped a piece of rubber around this lamp holder, and then put a pair of channel locks on the rubber and gave it a good hard snap, and it just started unthreading. So what my intent is to discard this, and then I'm going to reuse this, and all this. The end of the lock line, I'm going to take this piece, stick it in the lathe, and duplicate this thread, and I'll measure this thread, and whatever it is, I'll duplicate it here, and this is going to thread into there. And then that, of course, snaps onto the lock line here. My wires will go all the way through the lock line. And then I've got a 1/8" pipe thread out here, and I'm going to make a little block with an 1/8" pipe thread that will bolt to my magnet. Oh my gosh! Okay, that magnet there. This is a real sticker. So yeah, I'll probably put it maybe in the middle, and I'm thinking of bringing the light out at a 45, so it'll be kind of a block with a 45, and then that'll give me room to put the switch. The switch is here, and I just usually double stick that tape down. So I just double stick the switch right to the base, and then the light would come off and kind of at a 45 out. So that's going to be, I mean, this is a $9 lamp, but when I'm done, I think the lock line is like $18 for the kits, and that's a kit and a half there. You know, that's a pretty long length of hose. So that's my intent on this. And any of you that have ever put together this lock line know that it really sucks. And I'm going to give you a tip. I mean, it gives you the G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip when you're trying to put this shit together. Here's a tip. Go over to the press and get yourself your progressive pressing plates. Clamp one end down to the table, and let me see if I can do this with one hand. You just stick your last piece in there, as so, and then clamp that down to the table, and then you can push hard on your piece or whatever and get them to snap in. Unless you already have the pliers to put this stuff together, this is the way to do it here. So just if you don't have a set of plates for your press with progressive holes in it, it's a good time to make some. And that's the way to do lock line to get it put together. It goes together fast and easy after you can support just this little bit. If you stick it in a vise, the vise jaws are too big and they try to crush these, and it's better off just supporting it with a ring around just one piece. All right, but that's an update on this. Next up, I'm going to make an attempt to thread that piece of plastic right there, so it's going to go in there, and that's going to be a real nice looking piece. We're going to have the black and the orange and the blue. That's going to be a real fashion statement for Ikea, I think. We might see these on the market someday soon. All right, but that's what I'm doing with the Ikea Double Boost Jansjo $9 light. All right, so we're going to keep polishing this turd. Stay tuned. All right, so here's another little update. Here's a real fashion statement with the black and the orange and the blue. Doesn't that look nice? Anyone that's ever used Loc Line knows you can just put little kinks in it and turn it and do whatever you want with it and get it to stay wherever you want it to. So this is, I think I'm going to be pleased with this. So that's going to be a Loc Line double boost Ikea special. And I did find out what this thread is. I thought it was going to be some crazy, these things are made in China. And I was thinking this was going to be some crazy proprietary thread that they cut in their plant, just whatever size they had laying around. Turns out it's 5/16 24. Not a tapered thread, just a straight cut thread. But just threw a hex die on one of these little guys, which was challenging to hold to get it to cut the thread. I used the medium size. That's a small, that's a large. I got mediums. I got a medium somewhere, I think. I think I might have used my last medium. That's a large. But you use the mid-size nozzle, and it's tapered slightly. The thread starts about 1/4 inch in, and cut about, well, yeah, I guess about 1/4 inch of thread, and then cut the unthreaded part off on the bandsaw and give it a nice countersink inside so the wires have a nice chase to get through there. But fairly simple. The hardest part was hanging onto this and running the hex die down on it. But 5/16 fine thread. Thread the little orange goodie in there. And with the taper, it kind of acts like a pipe thread. You know, as it's threading in there, it kind of starts locking up. And you can get it good and snug where you don't have to worry about this thing coming unscrewed or anything. So this is secure there. And then the other end, we've got a 1/8 inch NPT, the pipe thread. And I got enough wire hanging out there to do my wiring. I shortened it up a little. It's about 1 inch shorter than the original black conduit. So anyways, I'll get it all put together and on the machine, and we'll play with it a little bit, see if I love my light again. I loved it when I first got it, but lately it's been pissing me off. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, here's the last little bit. I'm getting some glare through that door, sorry. Lights all put back together, and it works. It is DC, so watch your positive and negative. Mind your positive and negative if you're going to solder connections. Little aluminum block, tap for 1/8 inch pipe. I cut out a cavity here in the back so the switch would drop in, down on double stick tape, tie wrap on the rear wire. So I've got my control right there. Then it's, let me get this magnet loose. Then a couple bolts in from the bottom. Pretty simple. Just on a little 45 aluminum block. Let me unplug it and we'll run it over the mill here real quick. Switch right there. In my little block, and we can put that light pretty much anywhere we want it now. Get it right down on your work, and it's going to stay there. It's not going to, that other one just kind of went limp on me and it would fall down and stuff, but everyone knows Loc Line is pretty good. Whether it's oily or not, it kind of stays put. So that's how you build a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Thanks for watching.